Hello and welcome. It is Nomadic Shaman here. Thank you for visiting my page. Today's video, I wanted to speak about gang stalking, but I wanted to look at it through a spiritual lens. So I'm going to share with you specifically what I have learned and discovered as I've been going through gang stalking since 2020 up until this point. They're still coming at you, girl. Up until this point, okay? Hoping that it will help someone, so feel free to check out this video. If you haven't gotten a chance to, check out the last video I did where I spoke about business behind the scenes and the practicality of the business, okay? This video, we're gonna look at it through a spiritual lens. Just one disclaimer, don't mind the noise in the background. We're not going to do distractions today, okay? With that, let's start. Gang stalking, what is the intention behind it? Well, it is to split the soul. Split the soul, which is the same as splitting energy, which is the same as splitting the light. Now, when I speak about splitting the soul, what do I mean? I'm talking about fragmentation, aka traumatization. Okay, so when one is traumatized through their wounding or whatever experience that was proved to be traumatic for them, what happens spiritually is if I'm looking at you spiritually, in the soul, I can see where you are fragmented based on the timeline of where you experience wounding and trauma. Okay, anyone who has the ability to see souls, auras, can also do the same thing. Okay, now back to the video, the main thing at hand. So that's what happens. It is through traumatization and it's through wounding. I like to use examples. So let's say if you as a child, if you were either adopted, if you were a foster child, if you lived in a one-parent household, or if you were in a two-parent household, but your parents were either emotionally distant or mentally distant, you are going to feel, you may feel or experience feelings of abandonment, rejection, not feeling supported, not feeling heard. These are just a few experiences that you may feel. Also, you may feel isolated, okay? So the gang stalking recreates it. It's like recurring paper cuts. Okay. And if I were to use a physical example, it's no different than if you were to break a bone or get a fracture in one place and it's recurring to the point where it can no longer heal or doesn't heal in its original state, how it was before. Or let's say you experience a physical injury and it's a wound and you have a scab, so it's healing. And then right before it starts to heal completely, the scab is ripped. Now you have a fresh wound. Every single time that you attempt to heal itself, the scab is being ripped off. It's raw, okay? It hurts. And that's what the intentionality behind gang stalking is to do, keeping it raw, basically keep you from being healed by constantly triggering you so that you still feel tender in the areas, aka the wounding and the trauma that you experience either in your childhood, in your adolescence, or even as a young adult. Now, let's say sometimes, rarely, but sometimes it could even be experiences that you had in a previous or past life. Okay. And the gang stalking is you're essentially living out the series of events that you experienced within your past life so you can, one, officially and completely finish out the lessons that you have yet to learn and finish out the cycle. Once you get all the lessons and and you apply it. So you come into an understanding and acceptance of it and application of it, then that's when the cycle can officially close out. Because what happens is you are then becoming aware. Okay. For some, it takes longer than others. Your girl, it's 5 years. We're going on 5 years. Okay, so I'm not talking to you about what I think. I'm talking to you about what I know through experience. Okay, now the other part that I wanted to speak to you about is gang stalking. What else? What's the other intention behind it? It is meant to oppress. Okay, so whether or not you're being oppressed by someone who holds power and someone who holds influence, and I'm talking about the power or influence where all you gotta do is make one call, okay, and something's happening, something's shifting, or it's by magnitude in the sense of numbers. And if you happen to be fortunate and lucky like me, you're getting with a hit with a 1-2 combo of the magnitude of the people who hold high positions and connections and the people. Okay, please understand I'm being sarcastic at this point, but you guys understand what I'm trying to say. So the other part is oppression. Okay, so you may have experienced at one point in your life where you have been oppressed. Okay, that goes back to the trauma and wounding, and you have to learn your lessons as far as how are you to overcome that type of oppression. And of course, there's a lot of micro lessons weaved into that bad boy that you're also having to figure out, coming into an aha moment so that you can not only accept, not only fully understand, but the ability to release, to let go, so that you can finish out and complete the cycle. Okay, so that's another part of it. I personally, I've had past life regressions done, and my personal experience based on those readings would been I was a witch in a past life. There was another past life where I was a slave on the field, y'all. There was another past life where I was a slave or indentured servant to royalty, okay? And they would use me for my mystic abilities, okay? So that helped me to be able to connect the thread of why I was experiencing what I was experiencing in this life and what I wasn't able to complete in those lives, because this life, oh yeah, we about to complete this bitch. Because this, excuse my French, let's just say we about to close the book in this lifetime. Okay, so that's another part that I wanted to share. You may have similar experiences as mine, but the only way for you to know for sure is if you had a past life reading, okay, or past life regression session. I do not do those, but I do have referrals. Or if you do hypnotherapy, I do not do those either, but I can refer you. And then journeying. I personally do journeying. So there's that. The other part that I also wrote some notes, y'all, so I could stay on topic. The other thing that I wanted to share with you is your light is your spark. Okay, so your light is your spark, which is your energy source, which is your life source, your life force, and which is also energy, soul, and light. Okay, that's all into one. Your job is for you to be authentically yourself, even in the face of resistance and opposition, even when that means when it comes to your family, when it comes to your friends, when it comes to your business partners, and when it comes to romantic partnerships. In other words, because we're on examples here, if you are gay, you need to be authentic fully within yourself. That's what it means to be authentically yourself. Not giving two shits, okay, about what someone may think or feel about you being yourself. in the face of opposition or resistance. Now, this ain't easy for those who care more about their reputation and how others may perceive them than living out their own truth. Now, I'm not coming at you in judgment. I'm right there with you as a former people pleaser, okay? Where I put other people's needs, used to, other people's needs in front of my own, okay? So as a recovering people pleaser, I understand and know fully what it means to live your life for others' comfortability, okay? So I'm with you on that. The other part that I wanted to share with you is in this life, your main goal is to be your authentic self. There are other people who have been called to hold the torch, okay? What that means is being in the forefront and lighting that bad boy for others, okay? Ushering and helping people out of the darkness, out of the wilderness, into the light. There are people who are called to do just that. Okay. I, for one, have been resisting it because, well, we'll probably get on that on another video. But I'm here. Your girl is here. Okay. So that's another part of your calling, saying as far as that. Now, what happens when you are either being your authentic self, yourself unapologetically, not giving two shits, or you step into your calling by being that leader in the forefront? It causes a ripple effect. So each one teach one, reach one teach one. I don't know what the saying is, but you guys understand what I'm trying to say. As you light one, the other person will light another person, the other person will light another person, and guess what? We all lit up in this bitch, okay? So, and what that does is elevate the consciousness and raises the frequency, which is why it's so important for you to be your authentic self. But I understand for some, it may seemingly, which is a false illusion, be difficult for others more so, okay? But you'll get there eventually. The last part that I want to say is, with my experience of being gang stalked, what I have realized is the attempt behind it is to put your lights out. I'll speak from my personal experience. I have had 45 physical attempts at my life. No exaggeration. No exaggeration. I tell no lies. 45 physical attempts to take me out. Okay, that's number one. For some people whose gang stalking experiences may not be as extreme as that, they'll either try to dim your light, so you're living for others as opposed for yourself. And lastly, the other part is, outside of dimming your light, they'll look at you as let's say, a battery source. And when I say battery source, if you're one of those type of people, when you walk in a room and you shift it just like that, you know what I'm saying? And it's for the better, you carry a huge light, okay, with you shifting the room so that it has like a much higher vibration, okay? People tend to be a lot more receptive. So if you're looking if you are regarded as an energy source, then they're looking to drain you. In other words, deplete your energy to the point where you are now nothing more than a shell of what you are or were intended to be. Okay, you are a shell of yourself. So you want to get back to that light source, that spark, so that you can live your life authentically and unapologetically. Okay, so I hope that helps. Feel free to comment, like, share, and follow. And until the next one, I'm out.